What is up? Welcome to the August 2024 market update. Well, it's official. All of the lawsuit stuff is actually in effect as of August 1st here in Arizona, and much as I kind of suspected, not a whole lot has changed. If you're a buyer, you got to think about it because we're going to have to sit down and you have to sign a document, either employing us to show you property but not necessarily be your agent, or to be your agent before we're allowed to let you in any houses. That's not really much of a big deal. And if you're a seller, if you want to offer the buyer's agent commission, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. And the buyer is able to, via a new addendum to our contract, ask you to pay their agent's commission anyway. All is this to say, what I told you last month is kind of coming true, which is the commission was always a cost of doing business and it was built into the transaction, and now it still is. It's just a matter of where it's showing up inside of the settlement statement that you get from the title company. Overall, I don't think that this is going to have really any impact, much in terms of pricing or in terms of, impact to buyers and sellers and representation. There was a lot of worry and there was a lot of online trolls saying that this was going to be the end of realtors and all kinds of stuff was going to happen. So far, so good. A week in, we're still selling houses. People are still looking at houses. We're still taking listings, and it's mostly business as usual, with the exception of a few new forms and disclosures that we got to go over. So that handles that as far as I'm concerned. In terms of other things that have kind of happened in the economy and things that might be interesting to you guys in terms of where the market's headed, a couple things have happened. So since our last update, the Fed held rates steady, which everyone was expecting. But they have kind of come out with what they call a more dovish or, soft approach to how they're thinking of the September meeting. Right now, there's not an August meeting on the schedule. That would only happen if there's an emergency, and that would be something like the stock market dropping 5,000 points in a couple days or some crazy thing where the Fed felt like they needed to hop into action and put a meeting in place. Otherwise, we're going to be in for a September meeting. And everyone's estimation is 25 to 50 basis points, so a quarter to a half a percentage of interest rate drop from the Fed, probably coming in September. What I would say based on the data I'm seeing is that feels right to me. We just had an unemployment read that came in a little worse than people were expecting. The unemployment rate creeped back up over 4%. Some of the services and manufacturing data, it's not bad, but it's kind of middling. And so what I would say is the Fed's going to be really careful right now not to stay too high for too long, because if they do that, they could send the economy into a recession. So I think the people thinking about a September meeting and probably move down in rates are probably thinking about it right. But as far as I'm concerned, this feels about right to me. The Fed did not want to go too early and shoot inflation back up because people start going crazy for houses and all that stuff again. And it's working. In terms of the market here in Arizona, we're not seeing any kind of big crash or correction, but we are just seeing a little bit of softening. Some of that might very well be due to the fact that it's July and August and it's hot. People don't feel like getting in and out of their car when it's 1 trillion degrees. And that's normal pre-COVID. We always had that. We're seeing inventory creep up just a little bit. We're seeing sales drop just a little bit. And then we're seeing something we always see this time of year, which is our average and median sales prices drop a little bit. That's really common. And it just has to do with the amount of luxury real estate selling when it's so hot. And it makes sense when you think about it. If it's someone's second or third home, they're not out here looking at real estate right now. They're where it's cooler. That being said, it's something to watch, and we're keeping an eye on it. For now, what you need to know, if you're a buyer, good news is the 10-year treasuries come down a little bit, and that's brought rates down with it a little bit. So there's a little bit of a reprieve, and we're seeing rates in the 6s and even high 5s, depending on the product and if there's any seller concessions to buy the rate down. So lots of good news. If you're a seller, what we should not be doing right now is the strategy of let's try it really high and work our way down. The market and the buyers are really not having a lot of appetite for that. What we're seeing is good properties priced appropriately are still selling really, really quick, especially if they're in good neighborhoods, good areas, high demand areas. Good properties priced poorly are not selling. They're sitting, and we're seeing some of that. And we're seeing a lot of properties sitting if they're in kind of less desirable areas, more remote areas, things like that. where the sellers are still trying to get money like they could have gotten in 2022. And so that's not a thing right now. Those areas have softened up a little bit. They haven't crashed, but if you're expecting 2022 years prices, if you're a seller right now in some of those neighborhoods, it's probably not going to happen. Who knows? Maybe something will trigger and that will kick back in. But from where I'm sitting, I think if you're a seller right now, waiting for that to come back is probably not right. And if you're a buyer thinking that you're going to get a 3% interest rate, also probably not right. We're going back to being a little bit more in a normal range of things, and that's where we're seeing. So several indexes that I follow are really kind of labeling Metro Phoenix as a balanced market. And that's how it feels to me as an agent. We've got a good mix of buyers and sellers and demand and supply pretty much equaling each other. And it really just comes down to right now, matching up the right house with the right seller, pricing it right with the right buyer that has a long-term mentality for this. And when that happens, it's all working out great. So if you have any questions, please reach out. We'd love to talk to you, see how we can help. In the meantime, we're going to watch all those economic indicators we've been watching and talking to you guys about and seeing where those trends go. And next month, we'll have another update for you and we'll let you know how it all goes. Till next time, we'll see you soon. Hope you have a great day.